At Hackensack Meridian Health, we believe the best healthcare is perfectly orchestrated. Researchers working with doctors to treat the most complex conditions. Specialists identifying problems sooner. And everything you need, from primary care to emergency care, home health to rehab, is all perfectly in tune. Here, when everyone works together, your world gets better. Hackensack Meridian Health. Life years ahead.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to your Partner in Success Radio, hosted by serial entrepreneur Denise Griffiths. Denise offers a full menu of on-the-web services for all your online needs. Denise and her team of virtual assistants can help manage your online business, including social media channels, blogs, web portals, and more. YourOfficeOnTheWeb.com is a comprehensive resource to help you combine the power of your brand, your connections, and innovative ideas to develop a full online strategy that can guarantee a strong, profitable impact on your business.
Good morning and welcome to your Partner in Success Radio. I'm your host, Denise Griffiths, and each week I am truly honored to share the microphone with the most interesting business leaders. Now, these are people who have wonderful stories to share, and they are excited to freely share their journeys, their business wisdom, their tips, and actionable advice. In short, they're willing to help us shorten our learning curve as we navigate the know, like, and trust economy. In fact, my guests are so compelling and insightful that this podcast was recently, was recently written up on Inc.com as one of the best business podcasts you need to be listening to now. And our topic today, how to bankroll your mind with Rich Perry and Larunce Pipkin. They were scheduled earlier, I think a month or so ago, and the internet gods kind of took over, not in a good way. And then they went on a book tour, which was fascinating to watch, so we had to reschedule for today. I'm really excited about having them here. And today they're going to share with us their thoughts about creating unlimited success in business and in life. By removing the barriers to any success you desire, success is just so much easier. Now, it's unusual for me to have two guests on at a time, but Rich and Perry have co-authored what has quickly become one of my favorite business books and one that I'm recommending quite a bit, Bankroll Your Mind, Create Clarity, Focus and Mastery for a Lifetime of Unlimited Success. This is an ambitious title, yes? The authors claim to help you master your mindset, develop the attitude for success, and ramp up performance to get the results that you want and deserve. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to your Partner in Success. We made it. You're here.
Yay. Good morning, Denise. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I'm a little bit raspy today, just so the audience, wonders why I sound like this. We've had flooding, and I often wonder what's boiling up out of the ground because it always affects my voice. But anyway, I'm not doing the talking. You guys are, so it should work out really well. So before we get too far into it, tell people, Rich, I'll start with you. Tell people a bit about yourself and how you guys came to write this book.
Awesome. So I'm a coach originally from northeastern Pennsylvania, recently relocated to outside of Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. I met Larunce about 3 years ago. We were both training with the Tad James Company. We realized we had a lot in common. We started sharing ideas back and forth. And then once we both co-authored another book, The Change, we realized, we should really start a business together. And we started doing seminars together. We realized we had some real powerful material. And that's how Bankroll Your Mind was born.
I have to ask, that title, it really is catchy, one that sticks in your head. I'm constantly trying to find titles for blogs and different things. I'm like, where in the world did y'all come up with that one? It's a good title, I have to say.
Thank you. It took a lot of work. Just like anything, we were looking for something that not only brought intrigue, but it encouraged the mind to act, and we wanted it to have a bit of sex appeal. So Bankroll Your Mind is really our sexy way of saying reprogram your mind for success. And we were bouncing ideas back and forth and back and forth. It took a while, but finally we came up with something that we loved, and that was it, Bankroll Your Mind.
It's a great title. Larunce, how did you kind of get involved in this? I mean, I know that you guys met and did a little bit of work, but how did you just kind of wrap your head around saying, I don't have to do this on my own. I can get help. I can have a partner. It's difficult for some people. I'm an introvert. It's difficult for me to go, I need help.
Oh, definitely. And I think, like a lot of people in the helping industry, there are introverts, and you don't have to go it alone just because you've put that label of introvert on yourself. And that's something, unfortunately, that I did my whole life, not being a closet introvert, but an introvert trying to be an extrovert. I always thought, if I just do this on my own, I'll show people that I can do these things over and over and over again. And it was a lot of learning, and it was a lot of learning that took an unnecessarily long amount of time. I was very fortunate to meet Rich, and I realized, there's a guy that really needs direction, so I'm glad I showed up for him. That's a joke.
Okay.
That's a joke.
We're getting...
But I think what it was that worked with Rich and I is that we both realized that we had a passion for helping people, but at the same time knew that we had a message that we could clarify over and over and over and just distill this information down so that people could take what we had to say right out of the box, run with it, and actually see themselves creating success, no matter how large or how small, but just notice that they could create that success right away. And I think that's probably the most motivating thing that I have when I work with Rich is I know that every conversation that we have is going to lead to the production of something that's going to help somebody. So it's exciting to work with Rich.
And I totally understand. Look, I am a highly committed introvert, so highly committed that I'm afraid that I'm 2 cats away from being the crazy cat lady on the front porch with a shotgun and a blanket on my lap, yelling at the kids, get off the grass. I think I'm there. But I finally, really not as long ago as I would like to say it was, finally figured out that I didn't need to do it on my own. I needed to, find business partners and people who had disparate skill sets, but we could teach to the same kind of message. And once that kind of soaked into my pea brain, oh my gosh, life changed.
Definitely. And I think, I know Rich will talk about this a little bit, but the more that you reach out to people and share your ideas, you'll realize that your ideas are not alone and that you can actually collaborate with experts that are your peers to help you clarify your expertise. And you realize, there are people that are creating things that I thought I was the only one that was creating in my head. But once it gets out there, once it's on paper, once it's out of your mouth, it starts to take on a life of its own, and it really just blossoms and at a speed which, quite frankly, sometimes I'm not ready for. But the nice thing is there are all of those experts around me that help hold me up when I'm not quite sure, but then I do the same thing for them when they're not quite sure. What do you think, Rich? Something like that?
You said it better than I could, Larunce. Thank you.
Okay, one of the things that y'all talk about is operating with total integrity as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a business, person, small business, big business, it doesn't matter. Integrity, I think, is both an overused and an underused word. Can y'all explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, definitely. It's really walking your talk. It's saying exactly what it is that you're going to do. It's coming from a strategy of excellence and also just being an authentic person. I'm sure, Denise, you've seen a lot of people, and we all have. They portray one particular image out in public, but they may not necessarily be congruent with that behind the privacy of their own home or whatever. What we want to do is portray exactly who we are in the most authentic way possible and really just give our very best to our clients and to the audience and to the readers and the people that we train, and let them know, hey, this is who we are. This is Rich Perry. That's Larunce Pipkin. What you see is what you get, and we're really here to serve you in the best way possible.
And unfortunately, what they see is what they get. That's a good thing, and it's a bad thing sometimes. But I think Rich and I are totally okay with that. And we like to tell people that we're doing seminars or workshops with that people don't buy what you're selling. You know, it's not the widget, it's not the book, it's not the program, it's not the MP4, the MP3, whatever all those little widgets and gadgets are. That's not what they're buying. What they're buying is you. And people, I believe, have a very strong sense about what's right and what's wrong with an individual the moment that they meet them, that gut feeling. And if you can be true to yourself with your message and what you're saying as much as possible, people feel that. And then you don't have to worry that everything is perfect, everything is shiny, my hair looks just right, because it's you, because that's what they're buying. They're buying you. And the only way to give them a product that is worthy of their money, their time, their effort is to give them completely 100% of yourself without all the, oh, well, I want to look this way or I believe it should sound this way. And so I think that's one of the things that Rich and I do well is we banter back and forth. You know, I make fun of Rich, he makes fun of me. It's because it's who we are, and it's not always trying to polish and shine each other up so that we look like the best thing sitting on the shelf.
Listen, you're saying something very important there, because I strongly believe in my own spidey sense, my own instinct, if you will. And these days, I mean, it used to be when I first started out as a web developer, you got one of two kinds of websites. You got the, website with the dark background and the white text, or you got the white text, the white background with the black text. And you might, if you were lucky, this is before GUI, graphical user interface, which makes our gorgeous websites look and behave the way they do. But if you were lucky, you could upload an image. And it was always that banker image. You know the one where, this guy's in a, stiff, he's standing very stiffly behind the leather chair underneath a portrait of his granddaddy who was the banker. And, you were supposed to trust this person. That is no longer the case. So what you're saying is very, very important. So,
and I
Rich,
think it's something that we didn't even have to work on. And I'm sorry. But I think that's something that people are afraid of, that they won't be good enough or they won't be that image that people need. And that's one of the things that we talk about in the book is how important it is for you yourself to be clear on what your reflection is. And I'll go ahead and let you ask Rich a question.
Well, that actually leads into what my question was, which is, I call it imposter syndrome. I have it. I think we all have it. Many of us, a lot of us are subject matter experts in one or more arenas, but we just kind of feel like, somebody's doing it better. Oh, somebody's already done it. And we manage to talk ourselves out of just getting out there and going, hey, I can help you, and I can authentically help you. Rich, what do you say?
I 100% agree. And that was a struggle of mine in the very beginning, putting myself out there, is because I unjustly would compare myself to the greats. Oh, I'm not as good as this guy. I'm not as good as that guy. And I was doing myself a disservice because I wasn't putting myself out there, because I needed to read the next book. I needed to attend the next training. And I have no reason to make this video because so-and-so has done it better than I should or than I could, so why should I even try? Then I came to grips with the fact that I'm also doing my audience a disservice by not putting myself out there, letting myself shine even if there's flaws and all. Started putting myself out there and realized that, hey, I'm helping people. I'm doing a good thing, and maybe I'm not as great as a Tony Robbins or a this person or a that person, but I'm still serving, doing the best of my ability. So I would encourage people just to keep putting yourself out there, and flaws and all, just do what you came here to do.
I agree, and I've had the same struggle. You know, I work with a lot of clients. I can polish them up like an apple. When it comes to me, I'm like, I think I'll go outside and play with the dog. What's that all about?
I'm sorry. I just had to clear my throat. I pulled the phone away from my. I didn't want to clear my throat on the air. Can you repeat that?
I have
I'm sorry.
a mute button. I do the same thing with my mute button. But it sounds like you guys are doing exactly what needs to be done. So you wrote this book, and one of the things that y'all talk about in this book that I find fascinating is mindset. And another thing y'all talk about is self-talk. I would love for you to just go with that. So, Larunce, self-talk, good, bad, damaging, how do you overcome the really icky stuff that you tell yourself?
Well, it's there, and you have to address the elephant in the room, and sometimes the elephant is ourself, and it's the cause of all of our greatness, and it's the cause of our greatest woes. We do a couple exercises where we tell people that their business is a reflection of who they are, and if you're not clear and clean in yourself and in your own personal life, you'll find those things mirroring in your business. So self-talk, you have to exercise it. A lot of times when it's in your head, it's just swirling around. It's just that noise. And you have to get in the practice of getting that noise out of your head. And I believe strongly that we try to mimic those things that we've learned growing up. And so the self-talk is not our true self-talk. It's things that we've heard, things that we've learned, things that we've grown to expect from ourselves from someone else's point of view. So what I would like to tell people is that self-talk needs to first come out of your head. So I'm going to give out a little exercise right now for people because I think this is really important. It's how you get clear on things. And this comes from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. And it's called Morning Pages. And every morning when you wake up, you get 3 pages of blank 8.5 by 11 paper. You put your pen down and you start writing. And you write continuously without removing your pencil or pen from the page for 3 pages. And then you just throw that away, and you do that every day. And the reason is it gets rid of that swirling self-talk that doesn't need to be there, and it opens you up for a little more creativity, for a little more positive outlook on things, because now you can see something other than just what's swirling in your head. Does that make sense, or am I making it swirl more?
Yes and no. I mean, I've heard of automatic writing. I'm a bit familiar with that, but we all try to structure our minds. I mean, we're all like, okay, think about this and do this, and we all have our to-do list, even before we open our eyes in the morning. It's like, So if I'm understanding correctly, because I just wrote it down, I'm going to try it. So you're not structuring your mind. You're just putting the pen down, and whatever comes, and you don't reread it. You just throw it. Or in my case, shred it because I like to destroy things.
Oh, see, and that's awesome because a lot of people will want to hang on to those things. And that's what your brain is doing already. It's already trying to hang on to those things. And it opens up your mind to a lot of things. It'll make meditation easier. It'll make coming up with new solutions easier because you're getting rid of all the old garbage. So this is a way of cleaning up the basement of your mind, I guess, in a way. And the more that we can get out those to-do lists, those gripes, those moans, those things that bother us, we can get a little deeper into what we really want to achieve or what we really want to see about our lives. But more importantly, be able to see new solutions rather than old problems and old paradigms that are holding us back.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I'm definitely going to try it, but I guess you don't reread it. You know what you're thinking when you're writing it, so you don't need to revisit it and set it in stone. You just get rid of it. Is that correct?
100%.
All right. I think I understand. Okay, so, and either of you can answer this, what are some other kind of exercises that you share with your clients to help them maybe just that's one, to start the day right, but we all get bogged down. I don't know about you, but I'm constantly moving. I'm in front of my monitors. I have a bank of 3 monitors. I'm in front of them sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day. But I'm up and down like a yo-yo, seriously. My house is clean. I'm cooking. I'm outside chasing squirrels with the dog. I find that my brain only works for about 20, 25 minutes, and then after that, I'm in a fog. So do you have any exercises you share with your clients to just kind of get them moving, get them some clarity, get them breathing? What do you tell people when they're just, I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done? So I know that's a big thing. I used to drive myself too, and it's not a good thing.
Okay. Well, I'll start, and then I'll have Rich finish this up because I think I know where he might be going with this.
Perfect.
But I think you are 100% right in that your brain can only really handle 20 to 30 minutes worth of really structured, focused activity at a time. And then you need to recharge. Just like a battery has to recharge after use, you have to do that with your brain. You have to do that with your motivation. When you talked earlier about mindset, there's a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And if you can stay in the growth mindset of possibilities rather than scarcities or limitations, you'll open yourself up to have more of that drive. But I do believe it is incredibly important to take that time to recharge. Even Einstein came up with all of his theories of string and relative gravity by napping in the afternoon or daydreaming, because that was the moment that he gave his brain a chance to get out of all the, I have to do this, I have to do this, oh, I look over here, this has to be done, oh, the cats, the dogs, they need to do this. So all of that electricity firing everywhere over and over in your brain needs to relax. It needs to be shut off for a minute. Rich?
Absolutely. And the other exercise that I would give is a simple meditation. And, there's all kinds of studies. Finally, the Western world is appreciating and recognizing the benefits of meditation. And when I say that, maybe some of the listeners, because I know that many people at seminars and trainings, all of a sudden, as soon as you say the word meditation, they sit back and say, well, I can't do that. I can't sit still. I've got too much monkey mind going on in the head at the moment. It's easier than you think. It's easy to just sit there and practice a nice breathing meditation. If you're having difficulty with sitting still, go for a nice walk, a nice walking meditation where you're just breathing, being out in nature. Forget the iPod, forget the cell phone, forget social media for 10 to 15 minutes, even 20 minutes. Just walk around your block and just be in nature and observe and focus in on your breathing. You'll be amazed at how much better you'll feel recharging those batteries, like Larunce said, and then you'll be able to finish your day more productively.
And I'm so glad you described those 2 types of meditation, because honestly, when you said, describe the people going, I can't do it, my hand shot up in the air. I hate the word can't. But meditation is one of those things that my monkey brain just goes, oh, I don't think so. I'll be, doing the usual meditation, and all of a sudden I am building my Thanksgiving dinner list in July. My brain just goes off. So I have found that doing breathing meditation and walking meditation, those work for me. And, it's mostly a matter of me going, okay, Denise, corral it, bring it back, kind of like bringing the dog back to heel, because she'll tug me wherever she wants me to go. But I will have to tug my brain back, breathe, Denise, breathe, calm. And when I do that, it works. I don't know if it's a real meditation or not, but it does work.
And if it works for you, then it is a real meditation. And
exactly.
a lot of people, they, like you said, Denise, you're fixing Thanksgiving dinner, right? So we start thinking of these thoughts, and then people get annoyed with themselves or disappointed that they're not meditating the right way. There is no right meditation. If it serves you, if it helps you, if it benefits you, then it is the right one. If you find yourself, your mind is wandering, that's okay. Just let those thoughts go. Focus back in on your breathing. Start utilizing your breath to focus your attention inwards, and then come back to where you are and just let that nonsense, the Thanksgiving dinner, what you've got to do later, the kids' appointments or soccer games or whatever thought crept in, just sweep it back out again and go back to your meditation easily and effortlessly.
And it does take practice. But what I'm finding, too, with the breathing meditation, it turns out I'm a shallow breather. Who knew? And I will catch myself going, oh, crap, Denise, breathe. I was like, I will actually recognize now that I'm not taking in a breath or releasing a breath. And then I get a headache. Of course I do. So now that I'm more aware of breathing, and I will lay down, I've got these wonderful chaise lounges out in the backyard, and I go out with my Kindle and I'll take a 15-minute break to read something or listen to something. And I instantly, the minute I'm down, I'm prone, I start that breathing. And I feel better. It's pretty interesting how you notice things once you start a breathing meditation, if you will. So that's just my input.
And that's, I want to expand on that a little bit, because your breath is very, very, very important. And when I was growing up, I was fortunate to have an Asian trumpet instructor. And he taught me to breathe from down in my dantian, down in my belly. And he taught me to take big, deep breaths really, really low down. And so I always was utilizing more of my lungs than most of my friends. And so I could take a deep breath and I would still be breathing in while they were breathing out. And I'm like 1,000 years old now, and I've never been to the doctor. I'm super healthy. And I think that it's because I learned to really breathe as deeply as possible and let all of that toxin and all that stuff back out of my body. So breathing is, if I had to say one thing to people, I would say, you know what, sit down and breathe. And just breathe.
Right.
In meditation, it is practice. You can't sit down and meditate with an empty mind for 30 minutes the first time you sit down and do it. It's all about emptying your mind, and as soon as something pops in, you say, okay, thank you, and you let it go. Then you try to make that little space of nothing get a little bit bigger. And so something comes in, and you say, well, thank you, and let that go. And so you fail over and over and over again in your meditation, because it's not failure. It's just you calibrating on what you don't need to think about anymore. And the more that you can widen that gap, and the more you can widen that gap, the more is allowed to come in. And then you put that out, and then more comes in, and you put that out.
Right. And once you do that, I am fortunate enough to have this gorgeous backyard, and I work a lot. I live in the deep south. I mean, I have to do my gardening at night and in the morning. Otherwise, I faint. It's just too hot. We have 2 seasons. You live in Texas. Now you know this. We have hot and hotter and hell. That's it. That's all we've got. So, but, I'm constantly out there because I have this green backyard with these giant pecan trees. And I will go outside just as you described, and I will get under my pecan trees. I will take my shoes off, ground myself into the grass, do some stretching, stretch all the way up to the sky, and I breathe. And my point for saying this is not a, hey, go Denise. It's that when I come back in, my brain has already latched on to the next great idea, or like, oh, that's what I was doing wrong, or, ooh, let me talk to my business partners about this. Once you get out there, you ground yourself, you breathe, you stretch. Your brain just, I don't know if it's neuroplasticity. I don't know if that's even the right term, but all of a sudden your brain snaps to attention and you're like, oh, got to go. Back to work for me.
Right. And you'll notice that when you ask people, when do you get your best ideas? And it's always not when they're sitting in front of their computer at their desk. It's,
in the shower.
I get them when I'm
always.
in the shower.
Yep.
Because you're not focusing on anything. You're allowing things to come to you. And I think that that's something that people don't do, is they don't allow things to come to them. Because either they don't think they're worthy, or they have to work too hard for it, or they're an imposter, or there must be a reason why it's not coming to me. Just allow stuff to come to you. You know, I know we all like to give things to people because it makes us feel good, but part of giving is also receiving. So let those things come to you. Create that circle of continuity between giving and receiving so that you always get those things that you want and you need in life because you're allowing it.
We really are hard on ourselves, aren't we?
Oh, 100%.
Why? I ask this all the time. It's like, Denise, really? And I've said this before on the radio. If somebody talked to me in the Walmart parking lot the way I speak to myself, guys, honestly, I'd knock them in a ditch. I wouldn't even think about it. I would just knock them down. So when I catch myself ugly chatting to myself, like, no, you don't. And I have to stop, catch myself at it, breathe, and go, no. And that has become a habit. But for the longest kind of time, boy, I did some stinking thinking there. Not good. It's not healthy.
And I know Rich has something to say about stinking thinking.
All right.
So, yeah, another exercise that we do with our clients is to just get a piece of paper. And I challenge any listener right now to do this, okay? Do this for a couple of days. Just get a piece of paper, fold it down the middle, all right? Put a plus sign in one column, put a negative sign in the other column, okay? 2 columns. Anytime you catch yourself saying something negative about yourself, write it down. Write it down in the moment. It's not a journal exercise to do at the end of the day. Write it down in the moment. Every time you catch yourself saying something positive, write it down in the positive column. And then revisit it. At the end of the day, look and see all the bad things that you said about yourself and then all the good things that you said about yourself. And really take stock of how you're treating yourself. Because like you said, Denise, we say some pretty awful things to ourselves, things that we would never, ever in a million years say to another human being. Yet, many times we do that, we say those things to ourselves. Why? So I challenge the listeners to take stock of how they're treating themselves. What are some of those things that they're saying, good and bad, to themselves? And by the end of the week... go ahead.
Go ahead. Your turn.
No, I was gonna say, by the end of the week, you'll know how you're treating yourself, and then you can start reframing. So if you catch yourself saying something negative, okay, you've got 2 seconds to switch it around and reframe it and say something positive, okay? That way you'll start to reprogram your mind to start saying better things, healthier things, more serving things to yourself, and start treating yourself like a deserving and amazing person rather than treating yourself like poop, like crap, you know? That you don't deserve that.
Yeah.
So
no.
That's a challenge.
I'm thinking that this might be a good going to bed exercise. I don't know about y'all. I don't sleep a whole lot. I never have. I don't require a whole lot of sleep. And I've actually had to put into practice a going to bed process so I can talk myself into it. It's been kind of a learning experience because I would, just go to bed when I felt like it and wake up at 3:18 in the morning. And I did it all my life, but there came a point I was like, this is not working. I'm probably damaging my health and my brain. So I'm wondering if this wouldn't be a good nighttime exercise just before you go to bed, because I don't know about y'all, but I used to get in bed, try to calm my monkey brain down, and I would instantly go to, I didn't get that, and then, what about that, and I would focus on everything that I did not get done, instead of going, hey, you got that website done, you launched this, atta girl. That didn't even come into my little pea brain. And I figured out that was not the best way to treat myself, right? So I'm wondering if that would be a good go-to-bed exercise.
Oh, most
Absolutely.
definitely. And actually, Rich and I were in Milwaukee last week doing a little training with some authors at an author writing workshop. And one of the things that we talked about was gratitude. And a lot of people put gratitude on the outside of themselves. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my spouse. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for the sun rising every day. I'm grateful for blah, blah, blah. It's all on the outside. And you also need to internalize that gratitude. So you need to be grateful for the things that you are, that you do, that is all about you. And I stole a little exercise from a Deepak Chopra book about going to sleep and reflecting on the day, but without judgment before you go to sleep. So go ahead and do that reel of your day from the moment that you got up to where you are in bed, and just notice what happened during the day, and without judgment, so that if you see an interaction, you can think, that would have been a good opportunity to do that or that, and then continue on. And then be grateful for all of those reflections and that opportunity before you go to sleep, so that you are giving yourself that positive sense of who you are as a person, which then leads to another exercise that Rich will tell you about.
Definitely. And, the next exercise is what I like to call transforming pebbles into mountains. It's giving yourself credit for the good things that you do. And you can use this as a form of gratitude. It's recognizing all the things that you did well each and every single day, and then giving yourself credit for it. Because, how many times do we can recognize the good things that other people have done, the accomplishments, the achievements, the triumphs of others, but we don't give ourselves credit. When you were a little kid, you came home with that A on the report card, or you came home with that masterpiece of an art project, and your parents put it on the mantle or they put it on the refrigerator for the world to see. But as adults, we're the ones that have to do that. We're the ones that have to give ourselves credit. So it starts with just recognizing the good things that you do, taking ownership of it, and then piling them up higher and higher, so you can start to see all the great victories, all the wins, all the successes. And what you're doing is you're building that mountain of success. So you can look back and say, wow, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful for that. It's made me a better person here. It's made me a better person to do this. It's made me more, better to serve others. It's made me a better leader, a better husband or wife or father or whatever. And just be grateful for all the good things that you have done. But it starts with recognizing the things that you're doing, showing gratitude for it, taking ownership of it, and then just collecting them bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger.
I agree with you, and it took me the longest kind of time. I'm embarrassed how long it took me to figure that out. Don't talk ugly to yourself. No stinking thinking. Be grateful. Look, at this point in my life, as far as I'm concerned, every breath is a prayer. Every breath is gratitude. And it does make a difference. It makes a difference how I interact with the world, how I interact with myself, how I conduct business. It does make a big, big difference. There's no question about it. I don't know if it's, the biggest mindset lesson that I've learned, but I suspect that it is.
Definitely.
Okay, so thank you guys for that. Oh, and one thing that I've noticed, too, is when I do go to bed at night and I run down my list of, accomplishments instead of, oh, man, Denise, instead of whacking myself in the head, I do wake up the next morning going, I got this. It does carry forward to the next day. I don't wake up with this kind of sense of, oh, geez, I've got to go do blah, 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 the things I didn't do yesterday. Instead, I'm still going, I got this, and off I go. So, it's just a thought. We're sharing, how mindset works. Okay, guys, I'm going through your book, and you have something that is called a SMART goal, S-M-A-R-T. Can you kind of explain to our audience what a SMART goal is? I mean, it sounds like it should be kind of self-explanatory, but I'd love for you to talk a bit about that.
Definitely.
Well, I like the way Rich does it, so go for it, Rich.
So how many people do we know that set goals, but we set these bland, obscure goals that we really can't define, okay? Think of New Year's resolutions. Or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And what happens with these people when they set their goals and the middle of January, they're rocking and rolling, they're doing it, but come the end of January or February and they've fallen off because I forget even the statistics. I know I wrote them in the book, but it's crazy how many people don't succeed with their New Year's resolutions. Now, that's just one goal out of the entire year, all right? So what a SMART goal is, it's a way to pinpoint exactly what it is that you want to achieve by being specific, and that's actually what the S stands for in SMART. So the SMART goal is an acronym. S would be stated simply and specifically. What is it exactly, be as specific as possible, that you want to achieve? All right? The M would be measurable and making sure that it's meaningful to you, making sure that it's a goal that you yourself want, not your wife, not your husband, not your business partner, but that you yourself are going to push forward to achieve. That's actually what the A is. A would be achievable and making sure that it helps all areas of your life. All right? The R would be realistic, making sure that you're setting the goal in such a way that you are able to achieve it. With you, your abilities, the time frame that you set up, making sure that you're not setting yourself up for disaster. I want to make $1 million by next month. Is that really realistic? Are you really going to be able to do that? Or do we just need to tone it back a little bit so that you're setting up a realistic goal? And the T would be time-based and towards what you want. So it has to have a deadline. When do you want to achieve such and such by? Do you want to achieve this by next week? Well, what's the date? What's the time? Or is this a goal for a month? Be as specific as possible so that you know when that deadline is.
Okay, so I'm looking in your book, and you've got some, kind of great examples. Like one of them, you talked about losing weight. I think that's January 1. Everybody does that. They may have put on 5 or 10 pounds during Christmas, or, it's just kind of insane. But, you're talking about, I want to lose weight. So you say, I will choose healthier eating habits and hold myself accountable to daily exercise so I can lose a specific amount of pounds, 15 pounds by February 10th. That's pretty specific. Mm-hmm. So, once you kind of go, okay, I'm not just going to put out this nebulous, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to actually tell myself how I'm going to do it, by what date, and why it's important for it to be done.
Absolutely, because it gives you something to work towards, and you're making it measurable. You can see, I am on track because I'm eating healthier, because I'm going to the gym every day. Oh, look, I may not have those six-pack abs yet, but I'm seeing some definition, or I'm feeling better, and I have more energy to do certain things. And those are all little milestone victories that are going to carry you towards that ultimate goal. So maybe you know, hey, if I wanted to lose X amount of pounds by such and such a date, hey, I'm well on my way towards achieving it. Or if you want to make a certain number of sales by a certain date, you can gauge your results. Hey, I'm moving towards my goal. And like we said before, you're still giving yourself credit because you're moving towards exactly what you want.
Exactly. Okay, so one thing I really wanted to ask you guys about, because you talk about this in your book, mentors. Look, I firmly believe as a business person that we need mentors and we need coaches. We may need multiple. We may need one. It really depends on what's going on in our lives at the time. How do you tell people to find the right mentor? What suggestions can you make? Because it's tough. I don't know. I had one. I loved her. I loved her to death. She was an absolute extrovert. I am a highly committed introvert. She did her level best to get me out of the house, and I fought her every step of the way. Wasn't a good fit. Didn't mean I didn't highly respect her and like her as an individual. She should have never been my business coach. And it didn't last long, to be honest, because, she wanted me to, Denise, go join a book club. No. Go to the movies. No. This is not helping me. So what advice can you give our audience about finding the right mentor or coach and the importance of both or either?
I think one thing would be, treat mentorship kind of like dating. You're not going to waste your time on a date if you know it's going nowhere. And you know those things. You said you probably knew right away that it wasn't going to work. How long did it take you to convince yourself that it wasn't going to work? So
because I really liked her, and
all those.
Because I really liked her, and she came recommended by somebody I really respect. I hung in there longer than I should have, which was a mistake for both of us. We really were just wasting each other's time.
Yeah, and you could like people, and it doesn't mean that you have to make them part of that part of your life. You guys could probably be great lifelong friends in another arena, but if she's not serving the purpose that you need her for, then it's time to move on. And you don't have to have just one mentor or coach to cover everything. So give yourself the freedom to play the field. Have a business coach, have a creative coach, have a lifestyle coach, have this is what you should say to strangers and this is what you shouldn't say to strangers coach. Whatever it is, get out there and play the field with your mentors. But most importantly, choose the ones that are doing what you want to do, the ones that are at the level that you want to be at, so that gives you something to work towards and will also lessen that learning curve and create a compression in time so that you're not wasting time yourself. And I know Rich wanted to jump in, so go for it, Rich.
Yeah, just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. We have a little checklist in the book, so I was actually flipping through that checklist just to kind of read from the book for a second. Like Larunce just said, does this person have the experience that I'm looking for? Has this person successfully done exactly what it is that I want to achieve? So that could be a good criteria to finding that coach. You want to make sure, like you said, Denise, that you're a good fit to work together. This person may have come highly recommended. They could be an amazing person. But if you're not a good fit to work together, you might be just wasting each other's time. You also want to have a coach that's going to hold you accountable for doing the things that you say you're going to do. I know a lot of people that have coaches that don't hold them accountable for things. They allow the excuses to come through. Well, how is that coach helping you, right? I also know a lot of people that have life coaches that it's more like a glorified friend. They go out, they have coffee together, they chat. Well, how is that? Is this person like a friend that you're paying for, to just hang out with, or are they actually helping you to excel and to do things and to achieve what it is that you want? And you also, like we talked about before with integrity, does this person have my best interest in heart? Are they going to give you rock solid advice? They're going to guide you towards creating your, achieving your goals and creating your dreams? Or does this person not have your best interest at heart? Do they have maybe ulterior motives? And like we said before, you're going to know with your gut if, hey, this person's a really good person, they really want to help me, or maybe this person is just trying to collect some money and they're going to keep waving that carrot in front of me, trying to upsell me with this and upsell me with that. They're not really trying to help me. So those are some good notes to keep in mind when you're finding that right mentor, that right coach that is there to serve you in your business or in your life or in this area of life or that area.
Exactly. And what about people who are listening to this going, I want to have a coach, I want to have a mentor, I can't afford it. So what advice?
Well, I would say that a mentor doesn't necessarily have to be a physical human being that you go to every day. A mentor can be you taking the time to read books, biographies of people who have made things happen. I would like to say that Richard Branson is a mentor of mine. I've never met the man. I've never had a conversation with him, but I've read his books. I understand his message, and I know that if I can follow some of the examples that he has put out there, then that's a mentor for me. So you can have mentors without having cash in your pocket. I think that one of the great things about having a mentor that is actually there for you is, like Rich said, is they hold you accountable. But you don't always have to have a mentor that is simply holding you accountable. It can be for other things. So reading books, listening to tapes, reading biographies of people that are where you want to be, and so you can see their struggles and you can gain some kind of insight as to what they did and what might possibly help you get to the place that you want to be as well.
Exactly. Winston Churchill is one of my mentors. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love to read biographies. I know exactly what you're talking about. Masterminds, too, I think are very, very important. My business partner and another friend of ours who is going into the whole leadership community, as she should. She's a captain in the Navy and has been in 80 countries. She's got a phenomenal story. We put together a mentorship where we get on the phone every 2 weeks. We're going through several different online courses, high-end online courses. We give each other homework. There is accountability. And without that, we're just friends talking. So we know better. We know that when we get on that phone every 2 weeks, we're recording it, we're charting our progress, we're giving each other ideas, we're giving definitely homework. And it helps. It really, really works. Costs us nothing other than the price of admission to these high-end courses. We've over-degreed ourselves, to be honest. But we found that we would buy these courses. We didn't necessarily make it all the way through. And then we would have buyer's remorse, like, crud, I just spent $2,000 for something I haven't pulled out of the garage. Mm-hmm. And I know y'all talk about this, so I would love to hear your thoughts.
Rich?
Definitely.
Did we lose Rich? Were you sleeping again? He likes to nap on radio shows.
I think we're all just being very careful not to talk across one another, so just pardon the pauses.
No, you're absolutely right, Denise. In, getting that mastermind together, like Napoleon Hill talks about it, the mastermind is two or more like minds coming together in unified harmony. So in your case, Denise, you three ladies, you're participating in these high-end courses, you're going through the material, and then you're holding each other accountable to achieve those milestone victories or to successfully complete the course. And then how has it helped you? And you're giving each other homework along the way. You're tasking each other to hold each other accountable, to make sure that you're really getting the most out of it. And that's really what a mastermind is people of like mind coming together to push each other forward, to hold each other accountable to doing exactly what it is that they say that they're going to do. And I'm sure in the same time, you're learning from each other. Like you said, you're sharing ideas, you're sharing insights, you're sharing strategies. And this is how you're going to grow together. And I would encourage all the listeners to have that group of amazing people that they surround themselves with that are going to propel you forward and really help you in your journey of success.
Oh, absolutely. We call ourselves a girl power tribe. We're building a bigger, better brain. That's just all. But it's amazing. I mean, we will come up with insights because we're all coming from different arenas, if you will. My business partner worked with Tony Robbins for 12 years as a content creator. She knows her stuff. My other partner is, captain in the Navy. She's traveled the world. She works at a very high level in communications. Me, I do all kinds of other stuff. But you put us together, and we are, honest to God, unbeatable. It's amazing. We get on that phone every 2 weeks, and we're so excited to be there. We're ready to share. We're ready to move forward. We're ready to celebrate our wins. We're ready to, think, what we did last week, that didn't kind of work. How can we make that work better? You can't do it on your own. And this is me as an introvert going, you can't do it on your own. I don't mean go get out in a crowd and, dance, but find people who can help you, that you can help, and build that bigger brain.
Definitely.
Okay, I have been asking you guys a lot of questions, so for the next 4 minutes, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Uh-oh.
Is that dangerous? Not good? Sorry.
It's always dangerous. I want to say one thing that's been on my mind as I've been listening to what we've been talking about, and just to talk to your audience and tell them that, you know what, it's all about the baby steps. It's all about the action. So when you have that goal, whether it's I want to lose weight or I want to move up a tax bracket or whatever it is, create that goal, make those SMART goals, create that goal, and then promptly forget about that goal. And turn your attention to the little things that you have to do every single day that are going to make the next thing either not important or can move you to the next step. So if you can focus on the baby steps that will get you to that goal rather than always focusing on the goal and how far away you are from it, you're going to do yourself a big service. You're going to give yourself the motivation to continue because you'll see those little pebbles that you transform into successes like Rich tells in his story. So focus on just the action, just the baby steps. Forget about the goal once you create it and just work on what it is that you're doing. And when you look up, you're going to either be at your goal, beyond your goal, or have something even better. Because just like that coach that you might have, it might not be the right goal for you. As you're doing the work, you might figure out that something will better serve you and the people in the world around you than you had originally thought. So that's the one thing I wanted to say, and I want to give Rich some time. So go for it, Rich.
Beautiful, Larunce. And the only thing I have to say is thank you, Denise. We talked about having gratitude before, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of Larunce and myself for asking us to be on your show. We've been inspired by your work. It's been a blessing to know you the last couple months, and thank you so much for inviting us today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I have to tell the audience how we met, though, because it's important. This is an important part of reaching out and kind of networking and acting on the moment. I saw your book. In fact, I downloaded your book, Bankroll, Your Mind for Success, and I belong to a couple of lists that offer up these free Kindle downloads. I'm a voracious reader, as I guess you've probably figured out. And I saw this book, and the title went, it kind of jumped out in front of my car. I was like, oh, I have to have that book. It's a great title. So I grabbed it, I downloaded it, I read it, I scanned through it, and I went, oh. So I reached out to Rich and said, I would love to have you guys on my show. And we've just, gone from strength to strength from there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those serendipity things, but we all acted on it. Nobody sat around and go, oh, that's a good book, or, she sounds interesting, I'd like to be on her show. We actually took action, which is what you guys are talking about. Do it,
exactly.
Identify it, and take those steps. Go do it. Don't put it off, just do it.
Too many people put it off, and you took initiative, and we realized that great connection. We've been social media friends ever since, inspiring each other.
Yeah.
So recognize those opportunities and take initiative, folks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good things to come.
It's very important. Yeah, it's so important to just kind of stop what you're doing. And I've had to teach myself that too. It's like, ooh, I want that book. Let me reach out. And I was able to find Rich first. And I mean, instantly he said, yeah, well, come on. I don't think he even checked with you, Larunce. He may have. I don't know.
No, it's his job not to check with me.
Causing problems, what I do.
Well, listen, and that's the cool part about that is just giving people the okay to make the right decisions. And Rich and I do that for each other, so it's always a good thing.
There you go. Well, listen, before we end this program, and it's gone really quickly, where can people find you on the web?
Go to our website, bankrollyourmind.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Everything is at Bankroll Your Mind.
And do each of you have individual websites?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
so
share that.
My website would be thepathofme.com, and Larunce
is NLP-4success.com. So NLP-4success.com.
Neurolinguistic programming, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
I knew it. Okay, well, guys, thank you. So I like it when I'm smart and just pick something out of the air. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I mean, as always the case, this podcast hour goes way too fast. And I thank you for all of the wonderful tips and the exercises and the advice that you shared with our audience. And I'm so glad we were able to make this happen because I know you guys were on the road. In fact, I interviewed your book publisher last week, Rob Cussberg. So,
that's
full
awesome.
Circle here. Yeah, it was a great episode. So today's episode was sponsored by my company, Your Office on the Web. If you're looking for full-on business creation services such as web development, virtual assistants, online business management, social media marketing, and so much more, please visit yourofficeontheweb.com. And be sure to look for us in iTunes. Just look for Your Partner in Success Radio and take us along on your success journey. Gentlemen, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Denise.
very much, Denise.
You can find Denise Griffiths at yourofficeontheweb.com or at gottagovirtualnow.com. Thank you for joining us on Your Partner in Success Radio.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop! At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop! At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.